Namaste. We'll wait a few moments for people to gather. This incredible act of gathering by way of technology. Yeah. How extraordinary, right? Technology has become part of our norm and our culture these days, but how extraordinary, extraordinary, right? It's become ordinary, yet under these circumstances, for us to be able to tap in and tune in together, it's quite extraordinary. As I've been reminding everyone, please take a few moments to ask yourself how you are today. Hi, Madeline. Yay. So, one of Shakti's dedicated students is on with us. 90-something years young. Bless you. So as I've been asking everyone, check in with yourself. Ask yourself how you are right now. Right? It's so important that we kind of stop the running tape, and just plop down and check in. How are you feeling right now? And the way I would ask you, right? Liz, how are you feeling today, right? Do that for yourself. And one of the benefits, there's two great benefits, and probably many more, but the two that I'll bring up right now is you're tuning into yourself, right? So when you do so, you are A, becoming more present and aware of the moment that you're living, and B, learning how to take care of yourself, right? As you ask, you're asking from a compassionate place, right? A place of nurturing. So it's nice to see everybody, all the names that are popping up, Heather and Liz and Mary and Madeline. I hope you're having a beautiful, blessed day. Let us tune in. Let us tune in. Breathe in. Namaste. Oh, it's so nice to open my eyes after the Oms and see more names popping up. Hi, guys. Our gathering, right? Here we are again. Here we go again, right? Taking our seats together again. Love you all. Thanks for showing up. Showing up for yourself, but showing up for us, right? The collective family of humans, just doing our darndest to live in this reality, right? Keeping it as real as we can. So on that note, as I was walking in today, I happened to catch a toddler with his mama, and he was kind of running up a ramp, and I kind of created the story in my mind that it was the first time that he had attempted this. When he got to the top of the ramp, his mama said, good job. And for me, it gave me a little inner tickle to watch this young one climb up this ramp, which of course to us didn't seem like much, but to him was quite an elevation, I am sure. And one of the things that gave me a little inner tickle was the way he ran, as all toddlers do, kind of on their tippy toes and kind of in this like upward little trot thing. Not yet quite completely striding forward, not yet quite digging the heels down, but just kind of on his tippy toes and kind of bobbling sideways. And it's an adorable image, right? And then just a few moments past that, my eye caught a glimpse of a young woman that was on roller skates. And what was so interesting about watching her on roller skates was she was walking, running the same way, right? Like she was kind of like on her tippy toes, I created the story in my mind that she had just gotten the roller skates or they had been like in the closet or basement for several years, and this was kind of like a new attempt. And she was kind of wobbly and insecure and kind of taking these tiny, tiny little baby steps that kind of went up more than forward, basically trying to get her ground, right? In both cases, right? The young person that just learned how to walk and run and tackle a ramp, a hill. And this young woman who so bravely put on these skates and, was teaching herself or reteaching herself how to glide, right? And what was extra funny about the situation was as I got closer to the young woman, my instinct was to like put my hands on her shoulders and give her a glide so that she would stop doing the little like teetery walk on her tippy toes and more just that beautiful roll and glide. And even me, as a yoga instructor, as a facilitator, somebody that is trained in giving people space to grow, I even wanted to help her, right? Rather than just kind of step back and let her teeter. Let her take those precarious, uncomfortable steps that are not yet secure on her roller skates before she could glide. I wanted to kind of jumpstart the process and assist her in the glide, right? And this is our tendency as human beings. We're okay to look at it and observe it as young people, as we all were. We were all toddlers toddling along at one point, finding our ground, right? We were all teetering along, finding our ground and tackling hills at one point, right? Our first hill. And then as we mature, as we grow, we want to just glide. We want to glide oh so badly. I can only assume that young woman in her roller skates in her first or second attempt on the street wanted so much to glide, to just roll. But we all just gotta, take those baby steps. And it is uncomfortable. And how brave she was. I always admire young people that are out on their skateboards and rollerblades and what have you that are learning with all of the stumbles and wobbles, all of the falls in public, right? It's so brave. And I really do feel that the crisis has gifted us new ground. And with new ground, steps are going to be precarious. We're all just teetering along, finding our new way. We're all tackling a new ramp in our existence. We're all putting roller skates on for the first time. And before we can glide and stride and run and even just step, there's going to be these little toddler-like steps for each and every one of us. And as humans, we have the tendency to rush that process and not want that to be the case. We just want to glide. So, we're showing up for each other to get real. We're kind of honoring with great humility and deep compassion our desire to glide through this life, when the reality is we're all just learning how to take a step again, because the ground is different. And we are different, right? As sensitive beings, as the world changes, we are changing, so our steps are going to be different. And we're learning how to walk all over again. So let's hold space for each other for that, rather than, pushing each other into the glide, right? It's a nice thing to think about. I keep bumping off and coming back on. I hope you guys are still with me. If not, I trust that you'll find it again later. It seems that if you watch it later, there's less glitches. What can I say? Let's breathe in through the nose. Out the mouth. Make some noise. Move the body. Move the head. Right? Loosen some of the holdings and the confines of what you want, right? The desires to have everything easy and smooth and gliding along, and just kind of accepting the wobbles of your existence, accepting that we're all in kindergarten being schooled all over again on this new path, right? And what a gift, what a blessing, right? That does not have to be a curse. When you're ready, settle to your seat. Come to recognize what you are sitting on. Take a moment to sense the texture, or even the temperature of what is underneath you. As you give your hips and thighs and tail a chance to have a downward descension, dropping into your reality as you now know it. Slowly just begin to open up the waist. Make a little more space in the midsection of the body. And as the space in the midsection gets more open, notice that it might be now easier to breathe. Less compression. Furthering that spaciousness into the top of the chest, create a broadening across the collarbone. And a gentle descension of the tops of your shoulders, away from your ears. Soften the back of the neck. Soften the face. Release your scalp. Let the jaw descend. Let the gaze settle inward with heavy eyelids. See if you might soften those tiny muscles that live just above the brow. Attempt to soften those tiny muscles that live behind the eye, at the socket, way back. And then attempt to soften those tiny muscles underneath the eyes, close to the cheekbones. And with all of this attempt to soften, let's see if we might hold space for each other to be the vulnerable human beings that we are, learning how to walk on new ground, teetering, toddling along in our precarious baby steps. The world is different, right? Our strides are different. Doesn't matter if we like it or not. It is what it is. Honor how much you might want to just glide through this. And honor that we probably share that as humans, that you are not alone in your eagerness to glide through this life. And the glide comes after the practice, right? The glide comes from repetition, from consistency, from attempts again and again and again and again, right? Just like the toddler going up the ramp. You know, first he had to crawl. Let's go to the breath. Come to soften the area under the navel. Notice a gentle puff every time you breathe in, and a sweet emptying every time you breathe out. Let's bring our attention to the ribs and the side body. Notice the expansiveness of the rib cage every time you inhale, and the hugging of the rib cage every time you exhale, that it hugs you close. Let's soften at the top of the high lung. Try to catch those moments when air enters them. Catch the moment when air enters the high lung. And the moment where air leaves the high lungs. How beautiful that we can come together and hold space for each other to catch our breath, to catch where we are, how we fall in line with this crisis, this new ground underneath us, the new strides, the new steps we take, or at least attempt to take. All of us simply teetering along together. We'll build this breath to more expansive-like quality as we practice our daily lung strengthening exercise. Pranayama, the Sanskrit word for expansiveness of your energy capacity. And we do so by softening and by slowing the breath. Empty the breath from the underbelly. Slowly breathe in. Gently retain. And gradually breathe out. Gently retain. And slowly breathe in. Gently retain. And gradually breathe out. And gently retain. Retain. Breathe out. Retain. Breathe in. Retain. Breathe out. Retain. Breathe in. Retain. Breathe out. Retain. Release the lock of the underbelly, letting the breath go, letting the breath flow. Feel free to move. Just sit in observance of this beautiful flow. We might even call it a glide, right? So we do get a chance to acquire and experience a glide. The breath that slides and glides up and down the spine. And this might medicate and pacify our need and our desire to simply glide and coast through this crisis, right? We're learning how to just sit in the eye of the storm. Acquiring balance, acquiring patience. The skill that we are building right now is going to be mind-blowing when it's over. The humility that is coming through our willingness to just wobble on through. When you're ready, bring the hands together at the center of the heart. This gesture of gratitude or graciousness, honoring this very precious time together, not taking a moment of it for granted. The opportunity to come together as humans and get real, coach each other through finding some breath, and just be willing as you possibly can right now, to just take those tiny little awkward steps in this great stage of our existence. And eventually the glides will come, eventually the runs will come, right? We will be able to run again, uphill, right? Breathe in. Namaste. So nice to see you guys. I hope you were able to stay with me through some of those tech glitches. Like I said earlier, you can always catch up later if your computer's getting jammed up with the feed. And also know, for anybody that does not do Facebook, for any friends or family that you might want to send this to, they can find it on my YouTube page, YouTube channel. I just want to take a quick reminder. I want to remind people of a few things. First of all, thank you so much for the support and the donations that have come in. It's a beautiful thing to feel a sense of reciprocation as I do the best I can to offer us as a human family some support and some guidance as best I can through technology, that there is that reciprocation. So I'm greatly appreciative of that. And secondly, we've adjusted the schedule a bit for the summer. I'm just, really trying to keep my finger on the pulse of our reality and make adjustments as need be. And as most of you know, right now we are doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday for this, but perhaps you don't know, we have outdoor yoga. Anybody that happens to be local, I encourage you to join us. And the Zoom yoga sessions will continue because we have so many clients that are in Europe and the West Coast that want to stay connected with us. So if you have a moment, check out our website, Shakti Buffalo. If you're at all interested in what else is happening. Thank you once again for tuning in. And yeah, I'm smiling with gratitude at how this came about and how it has continued and grown in such a beautiful way and in such a simple way, right? May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be happy. And may you live with an easy heart. Namaste.